gentlemen, and welcome to the event that we've all been waiting for all week. I have the man, the myth, the legend, the author of the very popular Everything You Need to Know e-collar training, Larry Krohn. How you doing, buddy?
Hey, Bill. Good. How are you, my friend? Happy weekend, and thanks for the pressure.
Yeah, you bet.
Just a little bit.
Just a little bit. It's on. So,
Yeah.
while I am chatting with you, I'm going to come over here to my page. I'm going to share it to a couple groups
Yeah.
and whatnot. And while I'm doing that, do you mind doing a brief introduction?
Yes, sir. Glad to be here. Happy weekend. Happy Labor Day weekend. Long weekend. As you said, my name's Larry Krohn. I'm the owner of Packmasters Dog Training, Bowling Green, Kentucky. Nashville, Tennessee, basically, is where most of my clientele comes out of. And I enjoy these things. So let's have a good conversation and give people what they want.
Excellent. How long you been working with dogs?
20 something years, about the same time I've been a federal agent, basically. So it all kind of happened around the same time.
Yeah, did you get into start working with dogs when you worked with the government or?
No, it was completely separate. You know,
Oh, okay.
when I started my career with the government, my first training officer when I was a brand new agent was a canine handler, and it was just happened to be that way. And my first night, I started off on midnight shift, and he had a Malinois with him named Rudy. And actually, he's up in your neck of the woods. He was up there for a while, and Port Isabel. No, not that's Texas. I forget where it was. One of the places up outside of Seattle. And that's the first time I ever
Or
seen him.
Townsend, probably.
First time I've ever seen a Malinois. I just thought it was some kind of mutt. And
Yeah.
man, it was just awesome to watch that dog work. And on the Southwest border, they don't sit around long. It's constant work. So I had a really awesome time watching him and that dog, and definitely caught the bug for sure, no doubt about it. But I hated the breed for a long time because I was always into having really well behaved, stable dogs, and I swore I'd never had one. Never had one. I just did not like the breed, and so now I'm on my second one. It did take me a long time to cave, though. I will say that.
Yeah, I don't know if I'll ever have one.
Yeah, don't,
Yeah.
don't.
Well, it's a totally different ball game. I mean, when you have that working drive, I mean, you'll stand up going to go pick up your key. No, no, not even your keys. Don't even like a glass of water off the table, and your dog's like, "Duh, duh, 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 duh." Okay, what are we doing?
Yeah. Well, and Bill, I put so much time. My dogs are my pets first, so they have to. Like people ask me when they see videos of Luca, they say, "How do you live with that dog?" He's not like that in the house. When he comes in, he lays down. He's very mellow. Now, granted, at night when we're sleeping, if my wife rolls over and coughs or moans in her sleep, he jumps up and he's over there checking on her. You hear the nails on the wood all night long. But for
Yeah,
the most part, he's very mellow in the house. And now the new puppy, she's learning how to be stable in the house. I don't give her an opportunity to be a little douche, when everyone's around.
yeah,
So that's most of where most of our time goes right now is teaching her how to be stable and mellow in the house. It's very
yeah.
important.
Well, people forget how, I mean, high maintenance puppies are, even for a professional.
Oh God, yeah. They see the videos and they see the teaching new things. And, oh, that's awesome. You're so in love. I am in love when I'm training her, and I hate the little bitch when I'm not training her because
Yeah,
she could really, it's a lot. Rottweilers and shepherds from a very early age, they learn how to mellow out. They're holding it through the night quick, and they're just a lot easier. Now, I will say this. At 10, 11 weeks old, she was sleeping through the night. So I can't complain. That's pretty good for a young Malinois.
yeah.
So I wasn't getting up all night long with her for that long, but it's like I'm still fighting with her now, constantly wanting to go out and do things.
Yeah, yeah, she's still a Malinois. I mean, and that's it. From a puppy on, man, those dogs are high maintenance dogs. So we got a ton of people joining us. Sam, Tabar, Tosh from New Zealand says, "Hey Larry, hey Bill,
Hey,
Denise
guys.
White, hey Larry, Megan, Amanda, Tosh, Rodney." Raquel, you guys, I've had a lot of people contacting me wanting to watch this. So if you don't mind sharing this to make sure that everybody that wanted to see it watches this live, and so they can get any questions. If you guys have any questions for Larry, let us know in the comments section, and I look forward to getting into our conversation. I traditionally have not been a huge e-collar guy. I've been kind of more of a traditional dude, but I really have embraced the idea of the e-collar. And what made you start using this equipment? And you're kind of known as the e-collar guy now.
Yeah, and that's something I hated for a while. I knew it wasn't a bad thing. It wasn't a criticism or anything. But even my wife, when she would hear that, if we were at a dog event or something, she'd hear, oh, that's the e-collar guy. And even she would get upset, like, why do they think that's all you do? But I understand now where it comes from, and it is a positive thing. But like we talked off air earlier, Bill, my first introduction to him, I hated him. I was a
Yeah,
hunter. I was a bird hunter as a kid, and
me too.
I saw the worst of the worst, and I swore I would never have anything to do with them. And then it wasn't until several years later when we first started getting some computer access and a little bit of internet, and I started seeing a few people doing different things with them, and then videos started coming. I just became really curious. And even then, it took me a long time to be convinced. And it was basically my wife who pushed me, and I had a lot of attention and a lot of requests to start training in the business. And it's very difficult with the job I have. So it took me either like somewhere between 5 and 7 months to actually get permission to have another job, because as a federal agent, we can't have outside employment.
Oh wow.
It literally takes like an act of Congress, to get that approval. So it took me a long time. But once I did, we just ran with it. And, that was part time. And when I started, I said, you know what, if I can make enough money to pay for my dog hobby, that would be great. And then little by little, it was, maybe we could use it to make a car payment, and then, well, maybe a car payment and the mortgage could be paid. And, it just snowballs and you get busier and busier. And here we are today, and I don't have a chance in hell to get to the people that want training, and that's a good problem to have, but it's also very frustrating. And one of the things that made the big difference was when people started seeing a different use of the e-collar. They had this very strong misconception, even in the training world.
Yeah.
Most trainers still couldn't understand that it could be used in a different concept. And I was using it differently, because the way I was using it when I started with a training company, I didn't like it. I knew there was a better way. And once I started twerking things, I said twerking again, and my daughter's going to kill me. Tweaking things. Damn it.
Twerk it. Twerk it.
I'm gonna have to twerk before we get off this now. Damn it. But once I started changing things up, I just saw the more positive we made it, and the more neutral we made it, and the more we paired it with food, the results were mind blowing. Mind
Yeah.
you, I did not come up with this. I didn't invent it. I didn't create it. I've taken a little bit of everything from people that came before me. And
Yeah.
it wasn't until probably I was doing well. I was having great success with dogs. I was doing well, but it wasn't till Bart Ballone's first seminar in the States that I drove 14 hours to go work with him, and I brought a dog that just changed everything, blew my mind. And at that moment, I knew I have to do a lot more. I got to up my game, because I didn't know the possibilities were there. I didn't know we could do things with dogs that I saw him doing.
Yeah.
And from that day on, it changed everything. And so today, it's a 24-hour thing every single day. I'm constantly looking to make things better and improve things. And that's why when I find something that works consistently, I try to share it. It's not always well received. Sometimes people get pissed. I just pissed off a couple people this week because, who the hell are you to tell me how I should be doing? And I get it. I totally understand that. And that's never my intention. But what they have to understand is that if I'm getting the amount of emails that I get every day asking these questions, I do my best to answer them. So if you're a professional dog trainer and you hate the way I do things, and you don't like me putting out that, hey, this works great, you need to do this, you don't have to watch it. You don't have to do it. You shouldn't get your panties in a ruffle. You just shouldn't, because that's not my intention. And there's more than one way to get to the same destination. There is no one right way, but
Mm.
I'm always looking at how do we get better results faster while making a happier dog and being more humane. and it's constantly getting better. So why wouldn't you want to do that? Yesterday, a few people got really angry at me because what I tell my clients and a lot of trainers I talk to, if I'm doing 6 private lessons, I've noticed a tremendous difference to where if I do those 6 private lessons 6 weeks in a row, 7 weeks in a row, get great results. I'm not going to say we don't, but if I spread them out over a few months, 3, 4 months, even longer for the last 1 or 2 lessons, the results are tenfold better,
Yeah.
like so much better. So why is that a bad thing if I share that with people? Doesn't mean you have to do it. But I think sometimes people might get upset, trainers might get upset because if their trainer says, well, how come we're not doing that? And I've been hit with that a few times.
Well, I mean, a lot of egos in the training world, and people have to realize is that this is kind of where we started. This is
Yeah.
1969, and
Yes.
like you were saying, I mean, I remember the first time I saw this, the dogs being worked on e-collar made me ill because the dogs were just yelping, and same thing with boundary fences and stuff like that. I've seen dogs that just have developed superstitious behavior about like rhododendron bushes or some
Yeah.
weird thing, or some particular area. They don't necessarily associate it. And then, like you said, I was watching Fred Hassan, who I got to get him on here too, but with the Sit Means Sit a long time ago and how he was doing things. And that was like, huh, I mean, that's a little different. But as we start to evolve, we have a feedback mechanism right here with the 4 legs.
Yeah,
That's
absolutely. They don't lie. Dogs can't lie, and that's why I try to show as much as I can. I put out a video today. It's a little old, but I put it out because out of the 400 and something videos I have, I don't like any of them except maybe 2. When I watch my videos, I cringe because I see so many things I did wrong. But there's just maybe 2 videos that I like, and they're both with really fearful dogs. And the video I showed today was a small, fearful dog. And I don't get to train a lot of small dogs for some reason. And, if I put it out because people see this dog doesn't want to come out of his crate, and he would pee every time I went near the crate. And at the end, you see this dog hitting, a little tug thing like a working dog. And that was e-collar trained involved in that. It wasn't the only thing, but
yeah.
that was a big part of the program. And those are the possibilities that too many people are missing out on. They really are.
I think at first blush, because of this, and I understand
Yeah.
exactly why people are so resistant to this, but I think the tides are changing, and the more that people see good ambassadors of this
Yeah.
technology out in the world, the more that it's going to be accepted. And I've literally seen this save dogs' lives, and
Absolutely.
I
Yeah.
have one that it's going to be saving a life in the barn I'm working with right now, who was scheduled or going to be euthanized. And I'm like, look, we did not give this dog the opportunity that she deserved. Let's give her a few months, and if she still has big bad behavioral issues, then. But I tell you, Larry, she's going to be just fine.
That's awesome. Yeah. And the thing is, Bill, I don't have hatred for the anti e-collar community because a lot of them, their heart's in the right place.
Yes, I
They're
get it.
they're not doing it to take our tools because they hate what we do, and a lot of them have only seen the tool represented one way. That's it. And so I've had at least one purely positive person show up to every workshop I've ever done, including the last one, and they all come out of there changing their minds and start using eco because they didn't know. They didn't know there was a different way. You know
Well, this is
that.
one of your chapters, fixing a
Yeah,
dog that
that's
has
it.
been through bad e-collar training.
Yes,
And I
sir.
think I've had dogs, that have dropped, that have been through bad e-collar training, that they didn't down right away and they dropped. I mean, but when I went to go grab their collar and they just dropped, and I'm like, what the heck is going on here?
Yeah, yeah.
And
At this point, I could almost always tell if the dog shows up with nothing. I could almost always tell that they've already been through another e-collar program. Always. A lot of them, you give the dog a command with nothing on, and they're twitching.
hmm,
Because they're just used to being hammered constantly. Every time they're told to do something, pressure, pressure, pressure from the e-collar, and it becomes a problem. It becomes they all turn around. We could fix that, but we shouldn't have to fix it. At this day and age, with as much good information is out there, there's absolutely no excuse for it. And the dogs don't lie. I can't say that enough. They tell us if they've been through a good program or if they've been through an abusive program. They don't lie.
Absolutely. And don't get it wrong. That is abuse.
Yes. Yes, I agree with you 100%.
Yeah.
Yep.
So let's we have some comments here. Sam Tabar says I'd pay to see Larry twerk.
You know, there is a video, a dog training video out there where I got so happy with the dog, making some kind of serious, that I do wind up twerking in that video somewhere. I'll have to look for it. You
Oh man,
know.
if I find it, I'm bringing it up on
Oh, I
this
hope
show.
not.
Okay, and this is why we're so grateful that you put. I think this is when you drove, where you're talking about driving to see Bart Bellin. That's why we are so grateful that you put up so much content in your book, and has already been extremely helpful. She's in New Zealand, so we're just
Awesome.
a little bit far away to skip over for the weekend. So thank you. And Joy Reen says, "Hi, Janet." So true about the hunting world. I learned about e-collars in the field trial world, and there is a lot of very, very heavy use of collars. Yeah, absolutely. So glad to see the progressive approach with the tool. We owe it to these guys. I mean, after all that they give us, we owe it to them. It's our obligation as stewards of these animals to find the right way. And this is a way of communication, open up those lines of communication.
Yeah, and let me say this also, Bill. There's still a lot of good old school bird dog trainers that are doing great work today. Yeah,
Absolutely.
it doesn't mean because if someone's a bird dog trainer, a lab trainer or something, and a hunting dog trainer, and they've been around a long time, doesn't mean they're an abusive trainer. Let me make that very clear. There's some pretty tremendous people out there working the e-collar stuff right now that have been doing it very successfully for a very long time, and they've changed as time went on also, but not everybody does.
Yeah, well, and that's it. Is one of the most powerful statements that we can make as an individual, not just a dog trainer, is I was wrong,
Yeah.
right? And it's a very hard statement to make.
Not for
It's
not for me, because I'm wrong a lot.
yeah, no
I have a
kidding.
lot. I have a lot of practice.
Yeah, exactly.
you know.
And that's it. Humble, humble yourself
Yeah.
and kind of be open. And that's it. As soon as new information presents itself, that's our opportunity, to see
Yeah.
if it's we're going to switch course or if we're going to continue on the path that we are. Let me see here. We have Jeremy, less ignorance, more remote caller. I waited 15 years to learn from the right person. I chose Larry. I am so thankful to him. That is from Denise.
Thank you,
Uh,
Denise. You're the best.
Yep. And then Larry is fantastic ambassador for humane use, collar use, and education. So let's get started. I mean, the basics of this collar is first and foremost, you want to have a quality product.
Absolutely.
And that's
Absolutely.
where
Yeah.
I do e-collar technologies. I mean, where's their little address here somewhere on the box?
They're in
Oh,
Indiana.
yeah, ecollar.com, right there.
Yep.
Okay, and that's the one that I choose. I do them branded here with the Bow Wow Bill on there. But why is it important to have a good quality product?
Well, someone just tagged me in a photo today, and it makes me cringe. I've seen it before. If you go to Amazon and you see my book, it shows you people who bought this book also buy this quite often, and it's a piece of crap e-collar. And I've addressed that many times. And when someone tells me, "Well, I can't afford a good e-collar," listen, $200 is not a lot of money when it comes to your dog's welfare. The problem with cheap e-collars is, for one, they're very inconsistent. They're made very poorly, cheap quality, bad parts, and they're not very consistent. And the other thing is, a lot of these cheap collars, the very lowest level, there might be 1 through 8 levels, 1 through 10 levels. Many dogs on the lowest level, it's too hot for them. It's too harsh. It's too much. And then I have people say, "No, I checked it on me, and a number one doesn't feel that bad." If you can feel it, it's very high to your dog. The mini educator, I don't feel till it's up in the 30s, sometimes around 40. But yet, you look at Hank, the ginormous bull mastiff that I have here right now, is feeling it on a 5 and a 6. That's
Yeah.
his working level. So imagine if I put it on Hank, any dog. Size doesn't matter, breed doesn't matter. Well, size matters, just not when it comes to the dogs and e-collars. But, imagine what that would feel like to him, putting that on a 30 or 40, if he's feeling it on a 5. So the cheap collars, very inconsistent also. So people will be checking, checking the levels and the dog feels nothing. And they're going up and then all of a sudden, boom, it lights the dog up. You're messing the dog up right from the start. Spend a few extra dollars and get something of quality. They last forever. They last a really long time. They really do. So it's well worth the money.
Well, and the customer service that they provide I mean, that's why I branded these collars myself at ecollar.com. But it's also, um, just like we've been talking on previous episodes on how even with protection work, like if you get a wrong decoy or something like that, like they can literally wipe away months and months of training if they
Absolutely.
stepped wrong or did something wrong. And that's what can happen with these collars is that if we do not have a consistent quality product and you're working with your dog it's not, we don't have their levels right and it's bouncing it all over the place, we're going
Yeah.
to wipe away that training if the training is even there to stick. So I mean, first and foremost, don't skimp. Your dog is worth it. Get the good products, and it's going to pay you dividends for the rest of your life. And anytime that this saves this dog from running into a road, or it's paid for itself, or there's so many uses that you can count that is just makes it amazing. Now, what people think is they think that this is that they get a collar and then that's it. Their dog's trained.
Yeah, yeah. Well, we have the TV remote control syndrome, where people walk around like
Yeah.
this and they're pressing buttons and trying to change the channel on their dog. The e-collar should be a very small part of your training program. That's it. It's just an addition. You know. Oh, did I lose you there, Bill? Uh-oh. Think I'm losing you. Hey, Steph, are you on this, watching this? Can you log on and see it live? Because I think I just lost them. Oh boy. He's or bring me my other phone or something, or go to Facebook real quick. That's what's bad about going live.
No.
It's great when this happens, but at least I got a good picture of Bill smiling over here. Let me see.
I'm trying to pull you up and I can't. It's going like this. It might be our service here.
I wonder if I should get off Wi-Fi.
Because I'm having trouble. Like you're not even coming up.
Are you on Wi-Fi?
Light LTE.
Okay, I'm on Wi-Fi and I'm not getting it. Bring me my work phone real quick up by the coffee pot, please.
Please.